Hey guys, Deslater Magic here, and you know that I've built probably 20 or so decks on Arena that I regularly play with, and I'm starting to kind of run out of ideas, or at least ideas that I have wildcards for. And I got to thinking the other day, boy, I've played against some pretty wacky stuff, some pretty creative stuff that other people have built, and a lot of it's kind of annoying, but like in a funny way, where it's like, wow, that's weird, I can't believe he pulled that off. Good for him, that was unusual. But I got to thinking to myself, what's the most obnoxious but technically functional deck that completely comes out of left field that I could build and actually play on Arena? And the answer was, clearly I do not have enough wildcards for that, but I built it in Xmage. Check this out. Yes, it's 61 cards. You can't really cut a land, and you tell me which one of these you would cut, okay? It's 61, just get over it. I hate to break it to you, but it's not a terrifically serious deck, so I don't think 61's gonna kill it. So first off, we got 23 Islands, you'll find out why in a second. Next, we got Selective Snare, the best card in all of Guilds of Ravnica, or at least most underrated, I should say. Bounces a bunch of stuff back to hand if it shares a tribal, so Druid, Elf, Soldier, Human, Pirate, Wizard, Merfolk, I mean, everything's susceptible to this. And if they have literally zero synergy whatsoever and zero repeats, cool. Pay 2 mana to bounce one thing back to hand, that's fine. Then we got Syncopate, just counter a spell. I mean, I said the deck's obnoxious, so counter spell, surprise. Then we got Blink of an Eye. Return any non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and if this was kicked, draw a card. Very important. Gotta draw some cards with this. Then we got Flood of Recollection. It goes to get a target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, places it into your hand, and then exiles this, because can you imagine what fresh hell it would be if this card didn't exile itself? Especially with Mission Briefing. So the difference is this one, with Mission Briefing, you have to play that card before the end of turn, and with Flood of Recollection, you don't. So kind of a toss-up. I mean, this one you get to Surveil too. That's very important. So I just got 2 of each. I mean, it's sorcery speed, instant speed. Okay, there's that. But whatever, just 2 of each. Then search for Azcanta, the only card keeping this entire deck from being cheap, really. I mean, this is probably a $15 deck otherwise. But if you did want to build the budget version, take both of these searches and replace them with Chemister's Insight. That is the perfect replacement. You'll get higher synergy and about the same level of card fixing, sort of, without the ramp. Next up, we got Entrancing Melody. That just steals one of their creatures with converted mana cost X. So late game you can steal something good, and well, early game you can steal something like an Elvish Mystic or whatever. I forgot. Llanowar Elves, that one. It's all the same crap. I mean, literally, it's the same card. I'm not even kidding. Oh, and also you can steal any type of token for 0. Well, for 2 plus 0. You'll see why you'll want to do this in this deck occasionally in a second. Then we got Chart of Course, very important, just draws 2 cards, and then if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, in other words, raid, I don't know why they didn't print it on there, then you have to discard a card. But this is all about casting a lot of instants and sorceries and getting a lot of cards, and scrying and surveilling past cards that you don't need. That's what this deck does. Next up, Quasiduplicate, clone something. It has to be a creature you control, and then jumpstart, do it again. Oh my gosh, that's why there's 4 of these. Then we got Tempest Djinn, which you would definitely want to clone. I probably should do this in order. So Quasiduplicate, Mirror Image. Okay, this is a creature spell. This is not. This one you can cast twice. This one you can't. So clearly Quasiduplicate's better, but whatever. So 3 Mirror Images. You could run 4. I mean, but, you know, I'm trying to trim this down. It may enter as a copy of a creature you control. So kind of the same, kind of different. This is technically a creature spell, whatever. So what would you want to clone? Tempest Djinn. It's going to be like a 10-4 in this deck with flying. So can you imagine an army of these coming at you? You will not last long if you don't have control. I mean, it's... Ooh, ouch. Killer card. Then we got Murmuring Mystic. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue bird illusion creature token with flying. I think my record is 36 birds with 5 of these on the field. I think I recall that exact number. Keep that in mind. So then we got Sinister Sabotage. Counter target spells, Surveil 1, just real important. I mean, you could just get to a good winning board state and then just sit on this and just stall, wait for more of your islands to show up, wait to counter the first thing they do, and you're good. Then after that, we've got Expansion. You just aren't going to be able to use Explosion. Okay, it is what it is. But for 2 blue mana and instant speed, copy target instant or sorcery spell with convert mana cost 4 or less. So Vraska's Contempt, another counter spell, and then target the first counter spell. That is valid. Duplicate your Quasiduplicate. Duplicate Blink of an Eye. Mission Briefing, Flood of Recollection. Entrancing. I mean, that would be hard to find 2 targets that match, but okay. Chart a course. Do that one twice. Syncopate, that'd be a stretch. Selective Snare, what would be the point? Well, actually, no. There would be a point where you would get some benefit from paying 2 to clone it. It's pretty narrow though. And then yeah, I mean, you just kind of create one of whatever your opponent is doing to you if it's not too big of a spell. That's pretty funny to me. Then we've got River's Rebuke, because of course, I mean, it's a blue deck. I mean, it doesn't absolutely have to be here, but relying exclusively on Selective Snare, not very smart. And you could swap this out, and I think one of the other ones for just a generic bounce back to hand if they're running like Planeswalkers or something a little bit more annoying. I believe Disperse would be the proper one. So what does this deck do? Well, clearly it steals their best card or brings out a Tempest or a Murmuring and just goes through your deck at absolute light speed trying to get to one of those cards, and then just clones them to death and creates either birds or, well, big birds. That's about it. And then the rest of the time it just pisses them off and counters their stuff, blows it up and bounces it back to hand, and that's it. It's janky. It's not the world's greatest deck, but oh my gosh, is it trolly. So I didn't quite have the wild cards to fully build this in its perfect form on Arena, but I'm getting there. I actually just opened the vault, so I've got a couple wild cards. But I am going to try to upload some Xmage gameplay bare minimum, so you have to see the gameplay to this toxic deck from hell. It is hilarious. It is just, words cannot describe, and looking at this deck list does not even give you half the picture of how this works at a functional level in the typical game. It is hilarious. So hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss that. I'll probably upload it either later today or tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys very shortly.